Hey everyone. I'm here, y'all. I'm here. My apologies. I'm tardy, of course. But give me just a second here to get some things together for you guys. And then also just give people, since I am late, a minute to get in. So just a second here. Hello to those of you who are getting in. I am I'm dropping the link and some info for everybody. I know I am tardy. I apologize. Just give me a few minutes here. Good evening, Danielle. If you are here or if you have access to the mentorship programs, can you all assist me with sharing the link? Hi, welcome. Okay. And I apologize if I seem kind of groggy. I think I'm, a little bit under the weather today. But this is going to be a really good talk tonight. I think it's always beneficial to go back and like revisit the law of sympathetic magic. I think that a lot of us who have been practicing for a while, like you should already know about it, but I feel like it's something that a lot of us are already like somewhat familiar with, but I just kind of want to touch bases on it again. That's all. It's always important to understand how and why our magic works. How's everyone doing though? I am fresh back from Atlanta again. And y'all, it was amazing. It was fun. Like, if you're not in the house of Boron, what are you doing? What are you doing with yourself? Huganzo did a really good job with it. It was amazing. Like, when I tell you I am a new woman, a new priestess, okay, it was lit. Okay, give me just a few more minutes, you all. Go ahead and hit the like button on the way in for me. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I'm just so unorganized today. It's whatever, though. Let's invite everyone. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, you all. But welcome to all of you all who are joining. I actually wanted to share a PowerPoint with you all. I think I'm still going to do it, okay, because it's too pretty not to share. So let me get that up for you all. And for those of you who are just tapping in, like I said, we're going to be discussing the law of sympathetic magic tonight. And it's like something that everybody needs to know. It's always, like I said, it's always great to have that understanding. Okay, here we go. Isn't that beautiful? Yes, I did that, huh? Okay, so this is the PowerPoint, and I'm going to be dropping this particular PowerPoint throughout the free mentorship too. So if you don't, well, obviously, you know, the replay is always available, but if you're wanting to take notes, you can always refer back to the replay, and then also this PowerPoint that I've created for you all tonight. So the very first thing that I want to talk about is the purpose, or why we're even having this conversation tonight. As I was saying earlier, you know, it's very important that we understand like how it works, so that way we can create informed workings. One of the questions that this topic poses is, how can you believe in the magic you do if you don't understand how it works? How can you believe in your magic if you don't understand how it works, right? I really feel like this spiritual law is kind of like where, I know a lot of times like we talk about how spirituality and science meets. This is how spirituality and science meets, with the law of sympathetic magic. My magic, as is yours, should be informed by spiritual law, which you believe, okay? As for the lovely artwork that I included in tonight's presentation, so I didn't actually like include this in the PowerPoint, but what I will say is the term sympathy typically means having like an understanding between two people or two individuals, which I'll briefly touch on a little bit later once we kind of get to that point. In tonight's discussion, we're primarily just talking about the law itself. Now, if you want to see these things, or if you want to learn how to create some of these magical workings yourself, I've listed some information kind of like at the end to where you can kind of go see the practical use of these, or see these like in use. Or if you want to learn how to apply this in your work yourself, I also have like resources available for you all to do that as well. But as for the definition, it means using the inanimate nature to animate the animated, right? So this typically talks about, or animate means to bring to life. One of my favorite examples of animation or bringing something to life stems back to like my childhood. I don't know if any of you, yeah, I know all of y'all watched Popeyes, okay, Popeye the Sailor Man, or just any of those older cartoons. At the time before they were called cartoons, they were called animations, right? And it's because they bring the character to life. They bring the work to life, right? Using inanimate objects, which were typically the drawings, or I can't think of claymation. I believe that's what it's called, where they use the clay figures to create motion and create a story, much like a cartoon or animation. But claymation is a really good example of it. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys, but isn't the Nightmare Before Christmas a claymation? I think it is. But yeah, claymations are an excellent example of like bringing life to something, using something that doesn't have life, like Play-Doh or whatever type of clay. Oh, that's a good one. Yes, the California raisins. There was like this, I'm trying to think of the name of it. My husband was actually watching it not too long ago. It's on Hulu, but it was like The Projects, and it's like, I think it's called The Projects, and I know for sure it's a claymation created by Eddie Murphy. And yeah, somebody said it is. Okay, thank you. But yeah, it's like a claymation that's created by Eddie Murphy, and it's like it's an older one. But those are like perfect examples. As you can see, like if you've already been practicing hoodoo, or especially hoodoo, if you've already been practicing the PJs, thank you, priestess. Okay, Thank you. I'm so happy that somebody knew what I was talking about because I knew that I was missing the mark. I appreciate you that. I appreciate you for that. It has caught the PJs. Thank you. So yeah, that's a really good example of animation or bringing something to life. Um, once, okay, so once you do something here, it will affect something elsewhere. And even if you're not like super familiar with this law, I think that you'll be able to see, like, once I'm explaining this, how we already do this on a daily basis. But like I said, it's always good to understand the science behind it, right? Um, for me, this is like my personal opinion. This is how I think of this law, is bringing it back to as above, so below. I think that if any of you have paid attention to any of my Hoodoo Bible studies, you will kind of see me say that a lot: as above, so below. And this is, of course, it wouldn't be me if I didn't give you a scripture. Oh, hold on. Sorry, you guys. My phone is going. Okay. So, whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven. Whatsoever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. And that's like a prime example of me physically uh, doing work or doing change here and it manifesting somewhere else. So that's another way for you to think about it. If you kind of struggle with the concept of that, once you do something here, it will affect something elsewhere. And I think that that's something that our ancestors understood very, 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 very well. Especially those old school root workers and conjure women. That was something like they would literally fuck you up. And I think I was gonna bring that up a little bit later, but yeah, they will fuck you up with the dirt from your footprints, you know. So this law is very powerful. Um, and I threw this in here because remember I said earlier, the law of sympathetic magic requires an understanding between two people. And this is one of my songs right here, Understanding. Okay. I joke around a lot and I play around a lot, but that's just because how I am. But this is very, 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 very important. There has to be an understanding between typically myself and my ancestors. To me, this equates to like literally doing unauthorized work. Um, this is why we consult our spirit team. There's multiple reasons why, obviously, like we divine in our spiritual practices, not only to know a bird's eye view of the situation, we can sometimes predict resistance in our work as well. But also we like to have authorization to do our work. We need that. If you're doing unauthorized work, or if you're doing work that you didn't divine over, then this is where that understanding portion of this law is missing. This is a part of where it's missing. So, like, for example, there's a lot of like common workings. I think you guys will hear me talk about that a lot. Workings that have been passed down through the generations that actually do work, right? And that's because there's an understanding there with us and our ancestors that this working works. Um, Leaving information in your grimoire means that there is an understanding between you, your ancestors, and your descendants that your magic works. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to everybody? If so, go ahead and drop a pink flower in there, because I know that's a large concept, but pretty much it takes me to like the next point. If you are practicing the ways of your ancestors, much like hoodoo, and your work is informed by history and traditions, then you are practicing informed working, right? You are applying the law of sympathetic magic into your work. Um, like I said, if you are practicing in the ways and your ancestors are involved with this work, or whatever deity that you are authorized to work with, then you are practicing an informed work. So that's why it's so important that we have that understanding there. Okay. Okay. So the law of sympathetic magic is going to break down into two parts here. Okay. And see, I think that, like, at this point, everybody is kind of seeing a little bit, just like in general, how this is work. I bet you that majority of you have been doing this, but just weren't familiar with what it's called or how it actually works. Okay. And if I need to go back and elaborate more, I know I'm moving fast today because, like I said, I really don't feel good. I don't know what's going on. I was drinking my elderberry tea earlier. I just think that, you know, like sometimes you get fatigued when you've been working a lot. So just probably need a nap. But these are one of my favorite dolls to use. I don't know if you all can see it, but these are the muslin dolls here. There we go. And I really like these. I like these because they're sealed. First of all, I like these because they're sealed. And of course, like if you look at the list here, spirit dolls in general, voodoo dolls or voodoo dolls, effigies, puppets, these things are older than time. Like people, there are indigenous people and tribes that have made these dolls or have imitated life using less than this. Okay, this right here is just one of the many tools that you can use. Like I always say, hey, welcome. Like I always say, the only limit is your mind. For example, my grandma, or like, you know, I talk about her all the time. My family is from the South. And sometimes, like literally, they would use what they had. I think one of a great example of this is how we make the spirit dolls out of the corn husks. That's really great. But baby, let me tell you, my grandma could make a spirit doll out of out of an empty salt shaker. That's how creative they were. Just taking like little everyday things that you have around your home and layering your intentions, layering our correspondences that we already know about. If you're not familiar with that, please check out any of the videos on this channel, or also go to the African Magic School, because there are so many videos that will teach you in depth how to create or apply this law and then make it even more powerful. Okay. But I like these. I like working with these. But I also do the corn husk. Like I'll make a doll in a minute. You can make a doll. You can imitate life just by drawing an outline. You know what I'm saying? Like the only limit is your mind. And in hoodoo, we already know that you have to use what you got. Okay. And if you ever just have questions about it, or you are confused, or you're not sure, when in doubt, divine it out. When in doubt, divine it out. Always consult your spirit team when doing these types of workings. But yeah, these can be purchased on Amazon. Okay. And also, if you're even a little bit crafty, these are super easy to cut open. You can fill them with herbs, all kinds of stuff. Like, get as creative as you possibly can with these. So all of these types of items, or creating a humanoid type of figure using the elements, using the earth, using clay, using dirt, that's all the law of imitation, which is a part of the law of sympathetic magic. If you can imitate it, you can do it. Like you can create any change by imitating it. Like if you can imitate it, you can change it. You can affect it. So it's very, and I think this is one of the reasons why we always tell people, like, you know, hey, these dolls, these spirit dolls, like they really work. I could perform distance healing, right, with the effigy or a spirit doll or a Muslim doll. You can do distance Reiki. You can give people spiritual baths. Okay, so like I said, the only limit is truly your mind when it comes to the law of sympathetic magic, or just in general. Let me just say in general, because yeah, I could get really creative. And I challenge you all to do the same as well. So the second part is the law of contact, which is something that we talk about a lot. I think that a lot of you have heard me tell my story about how my grandpa used to burn his hair. And now we know why. Some of our ancestors used to burn their hair. They couldn't let anyone get it. And this is because, their ashe is on that item, right? This is like your energy is still on the item once you have touched it. This is also a part where creativity really comes into play again. This pen right here, this has my energy on it. Somebody can take this pen and use it in a working. I mean, literally anything, a napkin, saliva, spit. Well, those are bodily fluids, but anything that you have actually physically touched is what the law of contact is talking about. And then in the scholarly way, or the scholarly breakdown of that, is that things that have once been in contact with each other continue to act on each other at a distance, even after physical contact has been severed. This is why it goes way back to getting people's hair. Obviously, like real hair is ideal, but even if it's fake hair, you can do work with that too, because it's been connected. It's touched that person. It's touched their energy. That's why sometimes in other workings, to make them more potent, you can collect personal effects from the client or from the target. It can help you hit your target a lot better. So it's really important to understand that, because like, why are you asking for hair? Why are you asking for personal effects if you don't understand what you need them for, right? If you don't understand the science behind why you need those things. So those are the two parts. If anyone has any questions about anything that I've said so far, let me know. Let me go back just to make sure that I haven't missed anything. Okay, I definitely haven't. It's complex. It's complex. Okay, so it's complex, but it's not. It's not something to overthink. And I don't want anybody to be scared, like, ooh, or afraid, right? There's nothing to be afraid of. Just be careful. Just be cognitive. Just be aware of how these types of things can affect you. Like when you're in different settings. I know a lot of people won't even let people touch them, or this is one of the reasons why. This is one of the reasons why I would say that some of the elders in my family were really, 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 and they, hoodoo is like, it's woven into our culture. But what I will say is this is one of the reasons why a lot of Black people are so iffy about people coming to their homes, right? We already know that your home is like your sacred place. For me, it's my area to recharge. I'm actually extremely picky, and I don't let people come into my priestess room, right? That's the area of my home like most people just need to stay out of. And that's for a myriad of different reasons. But this is one of the reasons why our ancestors were very picky about people coming into their home, not only just due to energy, but just get people touching your things, and like you never know who does practice, right? So yeah, if you see people just like kind of being picky or protecting their things, that is one of the reasons why. Okay, so it's one of those things. The more you know, the more you know. Okay. But I know everybody in here, they do their protection work, right? Routinely. So there's no need to be afraid. And God has not given us the spirit of fear, but He's given us the power of love and of a sound mind. So there's nothing to fear. If your ancestors strong, fed, and venerated, honestly, there's nothing to fear. This is just more for informational purposes, so that everybody here can make wise decisions and protect themselves accordingly, and also strengthen their work using the law of sympathetic magic. Okay. So, like I said, today we're just talking about, I may do another part to this and give you all details on what you can do with these or um, other inanimate objects and how you can create more with them, right? How you can control someone. I know that there's a lot of jar users or people that love jar magic, and that is okay. But have you ever thought about putting somebody in a box? You know, there's levels, okay? But of course, today we're just talking about the first part, which is the law of sympathetic magic, okay? And the fact that it has two parts, which is the law of invitation and the law of contact. With the law of contact, that's also known as the law of correspondence, too. So if you see that term floating around, that is also talking about the law of contact, okay? All righty. So now, like I said, this is just an overview of the particular law. Now, there are tons of videos that you can, especially like with Priestess Peach Blossom's mentorship, you can sign up for that and you can get more familiar with using this into your own individual practice. And then also, of course, I dropped the link to the African Magic School, where you could go find videos. I think that everybody should head over to the African Magic School anyways, so that you can get familiar with magical herbalism, okay? Because yes, this is one part, but you also need to know the elements of a spell. You know what I mean? You need to know how to practice practical magic, which is also something I'll be talking about coming up in the next couple of weeks as well. But if you are interested in working with me, if you want a consultation and everything, please head over to the Voodoo Institute. I have all kinds of services that are offered there. In fact, right now, I'm having a sale. Yes, I'm actually having a flash sale right now. All of my services, including those ancestral life path readings, consultations, are 20 to 30% off right now. And that's going on at least until the end of January. So if you have questions or if you would like to get advice on how to create a working for yourself or for a loved one, please come visit me, okay? If you need assistance with that as well. I'm going to go ahead, just because I'm going to drop my link tree in the comments. And I'm also, like I said, I'm going to share this PowerPoint with you guys. I know it's really quick, but like I said, your girl is definitely tired for sure. You see. Make sure y'all sign up for mentorship. Sign up for mentorship. Start if you are someone who is not in the free mentorship, I recommend coming to the free mentorship. There you will learn how to venerate your ancestors. You will learn how to do candle magic safely and effectively. You can also book, like I said, the ancestral life path reading with myself. And we also talk about, what goes on your altar. We get very specific. We talk about the things that your ancestors are like. See, okay, so there we go. I dropped that. And it also has like my social media links too. So if you want to connect with me on social media, I do have a lot. I'm very excited. I won't say much, but I have a lot of projects that are coming up. Some really good and interesting things that are coming up soon. Make sure that you guys look out for these Hoodoo Bible studies that are coming from myself. Also, Priestess Peach Blossom has Bible study tomorrow too. Okay, I'm back now. Can let y'all see all my text messages. Okay, but yeah, that pretty much sums it up today. Remember, when in doubt, divine it out. And remember to ask yourself, how can you believe in the magic that you do if you don't understand how it works? Okay. Alrighty, and that is it, you guys. Thank you for being patient with me. I know I was late today, but no worries. I think you all will be hearing from me soon. So you all have a wonderful night, and you all take care.